Okay, now the order quantity for the next level is 10,000 units. As you can see there, if we purchase 10,000 or above, we are entitled to a 1.5% discount. So that makes our job easier. Okay, so we just have to follow what we did. In this case, we are entitled to a 1.5% discount. So, what's the purchase cost? The purchase cost, okay, in dollars, the order, the demand is 240,000. Okay, multiply by the purchase price of $25, multiply by the discount. In this case, we are not going to use the 99%, rather we are going to use the 98.5%. Why? Why are we saying so? Because we have deducted 1.5 from 100%. Okay, so that gives us $985,000. And then we compute the inventory costs. These ones are made up of ordering costs, the reorder costs, all right? Reorder, that's the demand over the EOQ, or the demand over the order quantity, all right? So that's 40,000 over 10,000, okay? Multiply by the cost of placing an order. Okay, and this gives us just $80. Then the inventory holding cost. The inventory holding cost, right? This one is the average inventory. The average inventory, that is the 10,000 over 2, multiply by the inventory cost per unit. Okay, which was $2.50. Remember, $2.50. Multiply by the percentage. Remember, the discount effect. So that's, we are only going to pay 98.5% of that cost. So if we punch those figures in our calculators, we are going to get 12,313. Then let's find the total. The total should be 997. Remember, we have already put the dollar sign there, so there's no point, no purpose of putting these dollar signs here. Okay, so 997,393 per annum. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? I'm sure the screen is large enough for you to see what's going on. All right, somebody might be asking and say, so why didn't you also adjust for the reorder cost of $20? Why didn't you use the percentage as well? Now, the $20 is not subject, or is not being affected by any of these discounts. Okay, this one is purely happening on your side. Okay, it's not determined by the price effect. Remember, even if the holding cost is not also directly affected, the question made it so affected. Why? Because the question said it depends. It's a 10% of the purchase price. That is why we are also adjusting the the holding costs per unit with the discount factor. Otherwise, it was also not going to be affected. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? So let's move on. Let's move on, because we need to have the fire. Okay, all these I'm going to skip. These are just self-explanatory, so you just have to read them over. Let me just take you to where I want the other computation, because remember I said this is just this part. The rest of this part is dedicated to the mathematics of working capital. So let's move on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have been stopped by this guy, and I thought maybe we just have to discuss about it. Okay, remember, what we've been doing so far is okay. Wait a minute. I think I forgot something. I think I forgot something. Did we conclude on that particular question? I guess we didn't. So let us get back to that question. Okay. Now the question was saying that calculate the economic order quantity. Uh, if you had only calculated the economic order quantity and rested at 800 units here, you were not going to secure all the marks required for this question, right? The question, in other words, was testing you the economic order quantity given the discount landscape. So you were supposed to then evaluate the total costs given a situation where there was no discount, where we obtained this first figure, I mean this amount of 1002, and then comparing it with this one and that one. You will then have to pick the most uh, cheaper of the figures. Okay, which one was cheap? Which option was cheaper? All right. So in this case, um, you can list the figures. Okay, the first one was 1,000. I mean $1,002,000. This was the first one. The second one, that's 996,348, and then the third one was 997,393. Okay, so you can see that the cheapest option of the three was option number 2. So it is better to buy the quantities in 5,000 units per order. All right. So our economic order quantity in this case, the EOQ, was 5,000 units. Are we together? I'm sorry for that. I had forgotten to conclude. All right. So let's proceed to the just-in-time context. Okay. The just-in-time inventory management system. This is a management strategy that aligns raw material orders from suppliers directly with production schedules. Under this approach, stock level is either reduced or eliminated since stock is seen as a waste. All right. So, in other words, the just-in-time inventory management system is a continuation of our paradigm. We do not want to keep a lot of stock in our warehouses. Why? Because stock management itself is costly. In order to keep that stock intact or fresh is a cost to the business. We need to have a lot of energy for our freezers and so forth, electricity, all those things. So we, under the just-in-time inventory management system, organizations order the materials when they are required for production. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? So what are the conditions necessary for just-in-time finished goods? A short production period so that goods can be produced to meet demand. So it's demand pull production. We only have to produce when we know that there is a readily available demand. There should be some good forecasting of demand, which means our marketing people should give us the right, well-informed figures. Otherwise, we are going to suffer losses if we produce more when there are no customers to buy. Good quality production so that all production is actually available to meet demand. When we do our productions, we have to ensure that our machinery, our people are experts and so forth. Everything should be up to scratch. No room for idle production or for mistaken or erroneous production. The products should be default free or fault free. All right, so that's the idea. Work in progress, a short production period. If the production is faster, then the level of work in progress will automatically be lower. So it's an issue also of speed in production. Then there should be some flexibility in the workforce to ensure that when erratic demand comes, the people are ready to work and they would be able to meet. If demand is high, the workforce should also be flexible to work to meet that. And when it is low, the workforce again should be flexible to accept, some, uh, unthought of or unplanned time offs, or to be actually given some notices to stop working, something like that. So it's a situation where we need to be very, very flexible in everything we do. All right. Sometimes people are only prepared to be given adequate notices, but in this context, it's a short notice context. You need to be prepared for that. Raw materials. Supplies are received as they are needed for production instead of being able to take from inventory. So we don't keep any buffer or whatsoever. We just have to order what we want to use for production. There should be some guaranteed quality in terms of materials. So we only use top-notch suppliers, not anybody. All right. So the supply chain management system is so sophisticated that only people with bigger muscles to respond to quicker or erratic demands are going to be players in this supply chain. All right. So flexibility occurs at our own firm as well as at the supplier side. The suppliers should also be flexible to meet our demand, to meet our requests for materials when we need them. All right. So the nature of contracts are as well sophisticated or tight contracts with pin-out clauses to enforce quality and delivery times. This is a no-joke context. So to implement the just-in-time system, we need to evaluate our current processes. You don't just walk up and say, we are now a just-in-time entrepreneur or a just-in-time company. No. We need to evaluate our current processes, okay, to actually invest in informed studies and research to understand our current position analysis. Then we need to develop a just-in-time plan. Then train our teams, establish relationships with suppliers. Then we test the prototype of this particular system to see if it is feasible to implement it. If we are then happy, we then continue with the just-in-time implementation. What are the benefits of the just-in-time system? A just-in-time system or approach is a philosophy affecting the whole business and obviously requires great coordination both within the business and outside it. The benefits are not just cost savings from the lower inventory holding costs and less risk of obsolete inventory, but in terms of better quality production and therefore less wastage, greater efficiency, greater flexibility to meet customers' orders quickly, and therefore greater customer satisfaction. In the exam, this is likely to be a discursive question type. All right, so you just need to understand the benefits of just-in-time and the conditions necessary for you to implement the JIT. But you can see that it furthers our start area of minimizing wastage in the production, minimizing inventory levels, and so forth. Thank you. Let's move on